You're in Toronto, hey?
I am.
Business or pleasure?
Well, there's going to be a big MRA. Well, there's going to be a lecture on men's issues tomorrow, and we're expecting the feminists to show up and put on a show that like they have the last 3 times.
Oh, is that right?
And
You're quite involved in the sort of gender issues community then, I'd imagine.
well, I'm involved in the men's rights movement.
Sure. About the men's rights movement, I just wanted to ask you to clarify, what exactly would you say your position is in the group? Right? Are you the leader, or?
I'm not really the leader. There is really no leader per se. It's I started it, so a certain amount of leadership does fall to me, and I am sort of the face of the group. There's it's been noted that there's a lot of guys who don't want their identities to get out there, which is very common throughout the men's rights movement. You'll find that Karen Strawn, one of our biggest voices in the whole movement, she's also a spokesperson for Men's Rights Edmonton, but because we just happen to be in the same city. But yeah, there's a lot of guys who they do a lot of the work behind the scenes for me to go out there and do the talent, right? Well, I sort of do my little stunts, and then there's other guys filming, and there's other guys putting it, like doing the video editing and all that stuff.
Oh, for sure. Why would you suppose or think that lots of your membership decides to remain anonymous? Like,
well, are you familiar with Erin Pitsey?
No, I'm not.
She started the first battered women's shelter in England in the 70s.
Okay.
And she's one of our supporters now in the MRM, because she noticed that like 60% of the children, or 60% of I don't know if it was 60, but a bunch of the women that she was looking after were just as violent, if not more so, towards their kids than the abusive relationships they were leaving. And Erin Pitsey, coming from an abusive background herself, sort of came up with this theory about domestic violence, that it's not about men beating up women, it's about people raised in abusive households finding relationships with other people who are abusive, because that's the only kind of relationship they understand, and perpetuating a cycle. And so, building another mutually abusive domestic relationship. And then, producing fucked up kids and just going down the line. Fucked up people find fucked up people and form fucked up relationships.
It's true.
And so when she started publishing those findings, she started getting threats from feminist groups in England. She had to have police blockades when she went to go talk, and they made repeated threats on her life and the lives of her children and grandchildren, and she believes they ultimately killed her dog as a form of intimidation. But yeah.
No, fair enough. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, it's a very unpopular position to take, and you never know who's gonna decide to take things to some sort of extreme.
It's true, man. Like, I went to a meeting recently about, it was sort of a community organization on campus. It's called APERG, and they hosted a meeting, sort of like a sort of a strategy session, brainstorming ways to sort of like counteract like everything you're doing, and like sort of. So yeah, I have met a lot of people that are You're not the most popular guy.
No, I'm not. But that's par for the course. And again, like what was I going to say? Yeah, they had a meeting about that at the U of T just a few nights ago as well, to talk about the MRA problem. I imagine
Nick,
it's the same stuff.
I wanted to ask you, do you have like sort of ballpark, sort of roundabouts idea about the number of your membership?
No, I don't.
No?
Because we got, like I said, we got guys who drop in and out, and I haven't really sat back and thought about it. We have people who show up because we're also affiliate. We work with another group that they don't want to be as um, they don't want to be as extreme.
Publicly related?
Well, publicly related or as extreme as us. They used to there used to be a big group called ECMAS. I mean, they're still around. They're just basically a support group for people going through family court hell.
Yeah.
And you know you don't have to be a man or a woman. It's not gender specific. Anybody having problems with MEP or whatever can show up. And so some of them, a lot of them don't care about feminism. A lot of them are they're ambivalent towards it. They don't see it as a problem or anything that needs to be tackled. Some of them do think a little bit more radically, and so sometimes they'll come out to our rallies with us, but they're not Men's Rights Edmonton. So it's hard to say who's like in our membership, who's not, because we've got some people who are gray areas.
You got some drifters.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I hear that. Anyways, I wanted to talk about sort of the initial beginnings of the group. So, like, would you say this group sort of formed as a response in regards to the "Don't Be That Guy" campaign with the posters that the feminist group is putting out, or is it something that you would have sort of formed anyway?
Well, we did form it. We formed it last year. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to jump like that. We were in the newspaper last year as well, actually.
Really? Excuse my ignorance. Why were you in the newspaper last year?
Because we put stickers on fringe posters.
Okay.
Mensrightsedmonton.com, voiceformen.com. That got on the news. Which so yeah, we were around before then. We've been postering for quite some time. I think it was March of last year. It was early in the year in 2012 when I made mensrightsedmonton.com. And then I just started broadcasting it any way I could. And the whole point of it, as the whole point of it remains now, is just to meet other people and just form a community in Edmonton with people who don't identify as who identify as non-feminist, unfeminist.
I see. So I'm gonna just ask you a few questions about the posters. It says, like, one of your posters says, I think it was like the first one from the "Don't Be That Guy" campaign, is like, just because you regret a one-night stand doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't consensual, right?
That's right.
And some people are saying that, well, there's an implication in there that sort of lots of girls who are allegedly sexually abused are essentially lying about that stuff or not being completely sincere. Could you talk about that for a little bit?
Well, first of all, keep in mind that the posters are, in principle, I do find the posters objectionable. The posters that we put out, I find them objectionable. That's the point. Is that you're doing a reversal of something towards men, and in my opinion, they're both objectionable. Sort of, saying, well, the aggressor sets the terms of engagement. If you put about that, we do think that we think there's too much of it, of dishonest accusations, and it's not just that, because people do shitty things all the time. It's about a culture that is permissive towards it, or even the education that's coming. The reason we target feminism is because feminist education, the undercurrent of all of their activism, all the messages that they're sending girls, is that they have no personal accountability, and really that translates into no power. But if a girl, they haven't come right out and said, well, if a girl feels bad about it later, then it's rape. But they are saying things like, well, if she's had one or two drinks, then she's completely unable to consent, even if it seems like she's giving enthusiastic consent. The fact that she's had those two drinks technically legally makes her unable to give consent, which means totally unaccountable. You know, and I'm not trying to slam on free love or anything, but there are social consequences when people have sex, because it's such a personal thing, and everyone's like, oh, you know, they did it with that person, but I thought he was going out with them, and then you know, back and forth, and you can abdicate all of that by going, oh, I had a couple drinks, didn't know what I was doing. Yeah.
No, fair enough. And so, like, as far as the creation of the posters, what was your level of involvement with that? Some other people?
Someone came to us with those posters. Like I said, we got in the media. First of all, we got people's attention when we started putting up posters. We started our postering campaign in probably September of last year, up and down White Avenue and Jasper Ave. We put up lots of different posters. Then we got in the news because what we were using was really expensive sticker paper, right? And I had made all these little hand-sized Men's Rights Edmonton stickers, so I could just slap them on poles as I was walking by, and I could like cover the whole city, and it was really great. But the sticker paper was really expensive, so we ended up with strips of when we would put the when we would put the sticker paper in the cutting machine thingy, we would have these strips of really expensive sticker paper lying around. So we just started writing websites on them and using the edges. And I was walking home from work one night, and I saw that the Fringe posters were up, and I was like, fuck, if I put stickers on these things, it'll piss a lot of people off. and that's exactly what happened. And the people were twittering about it, and it got into several newspapers because you went to mensrightsedmonton.com, and right there, anti-feminism, like right on the face of it. So anti-feminist group defaces gay and lesbian posters and women's posters, and in the journal, the picture that they had, it was of a play that had nothing to do with the queer community, nothing to do with women. It was Clowns in Love. And so I guess
I quite clearly remember that when that came out in the journal.
Yeah, and you know, so I was putting them all over various ones. But yeah, so when that happened, then we got the attention of a guy who sort of watched us for a while, and eventually we put out, you know, we were like, okay, we've got all these groups who formed against us. We got a voice for reasonable people. We got the Men's Circle. We got Feminist Edmonton didn't form because of us, but they're, you know, I'm sure they're not pleased with us. You know, so we threw down the gauntlet. Me and Karen made a video where we invited them. We were like, okay, we're completely willing to have a debate in an auditorium. You can watch. It's vlog number 6. It's me and Karen Strawn throwing down the gauntlet. We gave specific rules. It was like, you know, everybody has to have people in their own section. So we weeded out the possibility of either side infiltrating the other and making the other side look bad or anything like that. But anyway, sorry. When we threw down the gauntlet, when we gave this invitation to debate, this guy thought that it was a really good idea, and he had been following us for a while, and he came to us with these "Don't Be That Girl" posters, and that was back during the winter, and we just kind of forgot about them and sat on them, even though they, like, as soon as I saw them, I knew they were going to get a huge reaction, but we just didn't use them for the longest time. We were putting up different posters for a very long time, and then one night when the guys were putting up posters for a Dr. James Brown lecture, they were like, oh yeah, we've got these posters, let's put these up too. And that became this huge thing. Like, that's what we're known for. So.
Yeah, fair enough. So I don't know if I heard you correctly. You said that there was you worked with an individual named Karen.
Karen Strawn, yes, Girl
Karen
Rights
Strawn. So am I to understand that there's women also who belong to your organization?
Yes, two. Well, I mean, we work with them. Again, it's not really a very well-defined organization.
Right, sure.
Yeah, okay. Karen Strawn. She's Girl Rights What. She's like probably the biggest name in our movement.
Okay, fair enough.
And Allison Tiemann. In fact, I'm going to be on Honey Badger Radio tonight. I'm going to be on a guest, and Honey Badger is sort of a term that they apply to female MRAs. There's a video online about honey badger.
I've seen the video of the honey badger. Yeah.
Honey badger don't give a shit. Yeah.
The honey badger's so badass.
Yeah, that's the one. So they're honey badger, and there's almost every week now there's an episode of Honey Badger Radio with Alison Tiemann, Karen Strawn, and Della Burton. And they're three women who give their thoughts on feminism and the men's rights movement. They're very, very well spoken.
Sure.
Obviously.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. So there's this one more poster, and this one, like, I sort of like saw where you were coming from about the just because she's had 2 drinks doesn't mean that she doesn't give consent. Like, I see where you're coming from on that one, but this poster, the one that was, I don't think I really understood it. It was bank robbery robbery isn't black, bank fraud isn't Jewish, and rape isn't gendered.
Rape isn't male.
Don't automatically associate it with males.
Yeah, it said rape isn't male. Was
the word. But isn't it though? Aren't pretty much all rapists male?
This is when it comes to the rape argument, I don't have my fact sheet with me. I don't have my stats. I don't have all my stuff. But what I know is that what is considered sexual assault and the word sexual assault and the words rape, they get played around with. I personally would consider rape forcing objects into a person, like a woman forcing an object into another person. There's a lot of instances of female sexual abuse of children that doesn't get classified as rape, or it goes unnoticed. I think because people are they're more willing to let female on female or female on male, basically female perpetrated sexual assault, go unnoticed or unrecorded as such.
But I think I realize that there are female sex offenders. There's such a thing. Say, this is the American term. I'm not sure the Canadian equivalent. Statutory rape, where it's only rape because, say, the male is underage, but there's really no sort of sexual violence involved. It's sort of just consensual, but it's against the law. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So don't you see the distinction? Most sexual violence, I'd say, is characteristically. I would argue that it is gendered. It's mostly pretty much all male. You know what I mean? I don't know.
You can say it's pretty much all male. I don't think it is pretty much all male. I think if anything, I would concede that it might be more male or mostly male. But even then, okay, even if it were almost entirely male or entirely, well, no. Because given that it's still a very small percentage of men who do it, and you have got women who will do it as well. It might be an even smaller percentage of women, but overall, it's a small percentage of either. What you're dealing with is the demographic you're dealing with is sociopath. It's not male or female.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's the best way of putting it. The demographic that you're appealing, that you should be addressing with that is that of sociopath.
All right. Oh, that's good. One more thing. I don't know how much longer I have you.
I got time.
Okay, perfect. I think gonna be a couple more questions, and I'm gonna wrap up here, Nick.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you. I've heard through the grapevine that you're running for city councillor in Ward 8. Decide to enter politics, eh?
Yes, I have.
Very good. Where exactly? Excuse my ignorance. Where exactly is Ward 8 in Edmonton? What part of Edmonton?
It's White Ave and Bonnie Doon.
Okay.
Garneau area.
So, I've heard about there's on men's rights Edmonton. There's sort of a campaign poster here.
Campaign?
It's called.
Go ahead.
Well, it's sort of like an advertisement for like sort of your campaign, which is, what does it say? It's called like the Patriarchy Party or something like that.
Yeah, no poster. It's a pamphlet.
Pamphlet. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, I can send it to you right now if you like.
Sure.
Okay.
And so, what exactly? Why did you decide to call it the Patriarchy Party?
Well, just take a look at the. I'm not really in character at the moment.
That's okay.
Nick Redding is my character, and my name is Nick Redding. But Nick Redding running for Ward 8 is a bit different than Nick Redding just chilling out in Toronto.
Would you prefer not to address that question?
Well, I don't know. You kind of sprung it on me there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Well, check out the pamphlet. Do what you will with it. Distribute it. Well, don't do it. Don't screw it up. But distribute it as you like.
Fair enough. No, don't worry about it. We can move on.
Okay.
Let me see. There was some. I'm actually working with a partner on this project, and she had sent me some questions also.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna pull these up on my phone here.
Why didn't you want to be here?
I don't know. I think she's busy. She's like has lots of work and stuff.
Right.
And she probably would have like, I don't know. She's not a big fan of yours either.
No.
No.
I wouldn't expect so.
Okay, let me see here. Do you agree? Okay. Do you agree or disagree that feminism's efforts to challenge conventional gender stereotypes, including masculinity, could actually be beneficial to male victims?
I won't. Anything's possible.
Yeah, that's true.
that's my official answer. Anything's possible.
Fair enough. Here's one. She says, she asked, would it not be better for male victims of abuse to be recognized in their own right instead of just derailing feminist efforts?
I wasn't aware that we had derailed any feminist efforts.
No. Fair enough.
Yeah, this is why I would like to have had a conversation with her. We can get the details like this.
Maybe we can organize another Skype session some other day. You see here. No. Well, fair enough. I think that pretty much wraps things up for today, Nick. I really appreciate your time. That was I know you don't know me from a hole in the ground, so
that's fine.
It was a great favor that you did to me.
Yeah, no worries, son.
I wish you luck in the civic campaign.
Thank you very much.
And take care, sir.
All right, I will. See ya.
All right, be in touch. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.